Salt Week! Salt Week, baby! Smash like for Salt Week!
Before we get into this salt, I made this, put this on Twitter right here, where it's basically Sith Trooper coming to the game.
Look at everyone freaking out, man. Just a new coat of paint, boom. Everyone freaks out. It's like a new iPhone.
I don't know if people are freaking
color.
out about that, but it's just like, dude, it's just a red First Order Stormtrooper, and it's like everybody's like excited about it, right?
I mean, in the Phasma book, they had a red First Order as well, and I was like, oh, I don't know. I thought that the hype about it was a little too exaggerated, I think. I don't know.
We're going to talk about some issues that have been blowing up on Reddit. So that's what this video is going to be. There's a lot of people upset about the Grand Arena Championship rewards. We're going to talk about Whale Discord and Whale Chat and the community manager's response. We're going to talk about this post right here, which is about you.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
We're going to talk about the trend line with Marvel Strike Force. We're going to talk about a bunch of other stuff. So this is kind of a salty video, if you will. I mean, is that the right way to talk? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I think the problem is lately there's been a lack of communication, lack of like real content. I guess we'll talk about it later on. But the reason why I really made that Marvel Strike Force video, it's not like I'm not purposely going out of my way to find other games. If there's nothing going on with Galaxy of Heroes, and the relationship between Galaxy of Heroes and us has been kind of sour. Not the game, but the studio. And when you go to Marvel Strike Force, they got a lot of cool stuff in there that I wish Galaxy of Heroes had. And I guess maybe we can talk about it later on, because I think Capital Games could learn a few things from Marvel Strike Force in terms of some of the content that's in there to keep people engaged a bit more. So I think that's where the salt is kind of coming from lately.
First things first, Grand Arena Championships. Did not get my 1,000 champion score added after collecting them.
Yeah.
Did you win your first round? What happened with you?
I did see it later on. I believe on the forums they did put out a post like a little bit after the fact saying that I think they pushed out an update or something like that. I did get my 1,000 championship score, but I know a lot of people were like, where's my 1,000 points? And some people got it, some people didn't got it, but I believe on the forums they did say that it should be fixed or it's going to be fixed, something along those lines.
Right. In my opinion, this has been one of the most polished games I've ever played that is generally unbuggy. Is that a word?
Lack of bugs? I don't know.
Lack of bugs? Like, dude, you got to give them a break. Like, they get a pass on this. This game has been nearly flawless in the 3.5 years I played it. There's been issues, I understand, but it seems like they fix it, they communicate. There was a Reddit, a forum post where Crumb is like posting like every 3 hours with updates on what's going on this. So like, I think they need to know about it. Once they know about it, they respond to it. They said they'll get back to us. We should be fixed by Monday. I believe they're going to do that. I think this is not a problem with this game at all, is these type of things. They fix things, right?
They're quick
and if they don't, you know what they're going to do? They're going to give you 3 Chewy shards.
No. 1 credit, right?
1 credit? Oh, God.
I mean, they did make a big boo-boo with the first Grand Arena Championships, but they found the issue right away. They didn't let it just keep going on and on and on. So that's one thing this game does, stay on top of things when bugs do come. Right. However, I have to call this out. I get this every single time in my comments, Discord, Twitter. There are times when you're doing a battle and all of a sudden there's just the buttons disappear and you can't click on anything. The only thing you can do is wait for the timer to run out or back out. That's been going on for months upon months. So they are good at bugs, but for some of them, for some reason, they do stick around for a while.
I had the game just force close on me once, and I lost my mind. I'm not going to lie. I'm glad it didn't happen in a stream, but I was like, it was like I used my Jedi Knight Revan, my best team, and it was like an auto win battle, right? On like against something that was difficult, like Grievous, and it's like it just forced closed. And I didn't credit, and my team's gone.
Yep.
And it was like, oh my God, and now I have to. Oh, it was, I didn't get the win. My team was gone.
Yeah, that can cost you the whole entire battle, like the whole entire matchup.
But then it's like, how many times has my game force closed on for no reason ever? It's like the first time it's ever happened. I don't ever remember that happening. So it's like, okay, it's just an anomaly. It's strange.
Right.
All right. And then secondly, we talked about this a little bit before. A lot of people are like, oh, this guy cheated. This guy didn't cheat. Are you experiencing anything like that? What's your experience with hacking and cheating and things like that in the game?
It exists. I've seen it firsthand from people
I
know. It's scary. I don't know if the new steps in place have done much. I have people I can keep tabs on to see if it is going on still. I haven't really tapped any shoulders, but if you think hacking doesn't exist in this game, it's very naive. It does exist out there. Whether or not the new measures they've taken, who knows? But also you got to keep in mind that I don't know what people are thinking. If someone, let's say they put their best defense on all their best teams, and then all of a sudden they beat your Darth Revan Malik with one team, and they didn't have Padme, Jedi Knight Revan, their own Darth Revan. That's when I'd be like, okay, something funny is going on. But overall, I rarely ever think I've been cheated against. I mean, some people are just really good. Some people can take a bad roster and be very efficient and beat someone better.
I've never personally been directly affected by it. I just, so I just know that it's possible. I think people might be overreacting.
I think a lot of these posts are mostly overreacting.
But traditionally, inside of your guild, there's a mechanic. You can't cheat within your guild. Your guildmates report. You can't cheat in squad arena or in ships arena because your shard chat's going to monitor that, right?
Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, from what I've seen is that, let's say you have your own Jedi Revan team, you take out another Jedi Revan team. No one's going to think the wiser that you cheated because you have your own Jedi Revan team. But maybe if you have a cheat, you can just automatically win the battle. No one's going to think the wiser. If you're going to run up the squadron at the level 1 cup, going up against Darth and Malik, then you're going to set off some alarms. But there's ways to be smart about it, I guess, if you really wanted to do it, I suppose.
Okay, so we're going to talk about something a little bit more controversial here. Woo! Does CG listen to whales? Is there a whale Discord? And this was made up by a person that I think he spent over $20,000 on the game. And I hate to say that, but that is whale territory. But there's something else that people are not talking about is Kraken territory. What would you say Kraken territory is in this game? I
mean, it's just the fact that you're saying $20,000 is not Kraken. It's true, but it's sad.
True. It's really sad. Right?
It has to easily be like $50,000+ minimum. But we know people personally that are deep in 6 figures. That's the thing. Yeah,
people will not believe this, but there are people that have spent over $100,000 in the game. When was the first time that we went to Capital Games? Like back in 2016?
Right.
There was already people at that time in 2016 that have spent that money. And so it's been 3 years since then. So people that have spent over $100,000 have existed for a long time. Remember when Ray's Falcon came out? That was like a $13,000 unlock.
Yeah.
So
it was a bad ship too,
and it was a novelty too. But that was a $13,000 novelty unlock. Grievous was a novelty unlock that cost thousands. Remember that?
And he was bad, obviously at the time.
And he was bad. So there are whales in the game, and so the question has been coming up, and I want to give them a little bit of a pass on that because there was a developer respond. Is there a private chat where devs and communicate frequently? And you made a comment saying, this is common knowledge that there's been mentioned a few times, and there's a Warriors video where there was
about it. Yeah,
there was a screenshot about people complaining about Anakin, and Carrie responded to it. So what is your take on all this?
So you got to keep in mind when you're talking to Capital Games or reading something for them, you got to always keep this in mind. Look for half-truths. There's truth in the statement, but also there's a half-truth or an omission from what they're posting. I mean, we see a lot of there's a lot of instances like this, and there's another comment that people are bringing up again about sandbox mode and Capital Games saying they don't want to make the mode because they don't know how to tie rewards to it, which is
monetization.
True. It's monetization. That's the reason why they don't want to make it, but they're telling the truth.
But that's funny. That's almost comical, right? That's almost like a meme right there.
Yeah, right. That's a meme. With this, I'm gonna say as well, there's a half truth involved. Is it exclusively 100% a whale chat? Probably not. Is the grand majority of it whales? From the people I know that are in there, yes. It is mostly a whale chat.
Mostly whales.
And also they build these straw mans. We're not saying there's a smoke-filled room where all the decisions and communications are being made. That's not what we're saying. So they've kind of built a straw man and beat it up saying that no, Arnold's wrong. But there is a chat where they're constantly always in there. It seems like on a daily basis from the people I know that are in this chat, and a lot of their feedback is taken, I would think, a little bit more seriously than you or me and than other people on here.
No, and so I'll just straight up say that this post here by Crumb is factually accurate. And I know that this is true that when this volunteer beta program was started, it was maybe 2 guilds, and it was the Kraken of Kraken guilds out there. So, I mean, to get it, so yes, it was like, okay, we just invited these 2 big guilds. And, I mean, what they're not saying is that the only people in those guilds were, the guild requirements was you must spend money.
Yep.
You know what I mean? To be in this guild, you must be a top spender. That is what our guild is. And so and then they've opened it up and they've expanded it, you know, and they made it bigger. But initially, it was a straight up whale chat. I mean, there's just that would, and then so that's fine. And I think they've made it bigger and they've allowed other people to come in. Like, you know, we've been invited to the beta group. I don't get involved.
Yeah,
with
we
the
don't
Slack.
go in there. I personally prefer not to know
time.
stuff and not to be in there, so we could talk about it from the stuff that we see go public.
Well, yeah. See, it was always a liability for us because,
Right.
like, if we know things and then we slip, then we leak, and I'm just gonna be straight up. Like, it bothers me to know stuff like months in advance that I
Right.
can't talk about.
I think you and I have said that we don't care about early access. We just want to
Right.
have access to it when it's live. That's I remember whenever we talked to them, they're like, "How can we
anything
improve
more
the
than
program?"
48 hours for me is like problematic because like I want
Right.
to talk about it, right? So it's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
I just let me know 48 hours in advance. But so getting involved with this was always a problem for me personally. Now, this doesn't still address the whale issue though,
Yes,
because
it goes around the bush.
yes, because we've gone to events like not this year, but the year before. There was 4 of us that were invited out to EA Play, not by Capital
Yeah.
Games, but by a different
It was
division
by the
of
Command
EA.
and Conquer people, I think, right?
Yeah, Command and Conquer invited us out. So we went out there because we were going to help promote Command and Conquer. And we were, people come up to us as like, blah, 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 you mobile gamer, check out this 28 speed mod I picked up. And I'm like, who are you? Oh, wait, you are the biggest spender, the biggest whale in the game by far. You have the largest account. I know who you are. How'd you get here? No, they were flown out by EA.
Or CG, not EA, CG.
Yeah, CG. So
Yeah.
CG does have some sort of whale Kraken outreach program. How else do they get invited to these events?
I mean,
we've
it's not
gone to
just-
a couple
I
events
mean,
and they're there.
That's
These
just
whales
one
are there.
thing that's just one thing you're pointing out right there. I mean, another instance is when we saw the Sith raid. A lot of those big spenders went there. For example, last year for the event that we were invited out to. So there's definitely some sort of outreach program to whales. I mean, whether that's a good or bad thing, I mean, you got to consider that those are their top investors in the game, so they probably want to have some close relationship with them. I mean,
they would be foolish to not engage with those players,
right?
Because for one, they're highly engaged and they know what's going on in the game. And not only are they highly engaged, they're willing to pay a lot of money to get the best and do the best. And so getting in their brain and understanding what they want, they would be foolish to not understand it. I mean, I'm sure flying them out to an event is money well spent if they can just capture a glimpse of what that person actually
take them to the bar, have them sit down in a casual manner, and, talk shop with them.
And this is normal. Marvel Strike Force has a dedicated person, and that's all they do is communicate with the top spenders in the game. Now, and I think where there was a question is like this guy was kind of upset because he spent 20 grand and nobody's talking to him and he feels left out. I don't know where the cutoff on this stuff is. I think it's a lot higher than that, is all I'm trying to say. I
think, honestly, you got to be in a guild that you're some of the biggest spenders because then you can kind of like throw the net and capture this large group of whales that think similarly, they kind of interact similarly. And I think that might be what it is. I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm not in this thing.
You're going to have to join a whale guild to
Maybe.
get involved with this. I mean, because another thing, too, is that this is a lot of time being in this beta thing. I mean, you have to test things and then you have to give
paying them to test their
reports.
game.
And then not only that, but none of that progress is saved or useful. You know what I mean? It's just extra time. And it's a time commitment to be involved with this. So it's give and take. Now let's talk about some of the other things that are going on. There's a lot of complaints right now about not a lot to do with the game, which is kind of interesting, right?
Right. Especially because we have graduated championships and territory battles. You'd think that's enough, but the problem is frequency.
Yeah. So tell me about what you were saying the other day. Like you bought like Shakti and you wanted a tester. How would you go about doing that if you bought this new character?
This is the one thing I like about Marvel Strike Force. Again, I'm not saying Marvel Strike Force is better than Galaxy Heroes. They both have different aspects of the game, some better than the other, some worse than the other. And the thing that, like this guy says it right here, this Mythic Galactic War thing. One thing I like about Marvel Strike Force is that there are so many different types of game modes where if I have a character, whether I bought it, I haven't really bought characters yet on there, whether I bought it or if I farmed it, I want to be able to use it and like test things out. The problem is with Galaxy Heroes that I bought like Shakti, made some videos on it. I bought Geonosi and Brood Alpha to do some videos on it. But really, there's not much to do with it. Like Shakti's been collecting dust. I have her Gear 12. I have the Zetas on her. The Galactic War, it's not really a good place to test out this character. Arena, horrible place to test out this character. A Grand Arena, yeah, but the Grand Arena only comes up, 3 times every 2 weeks or something like that?
You could basically use, there's really nothing you can do. You can't really play the character.
No.
Yeah, I mean, it's so weird. Like, it's not great. Now, the other thing on the flip side is, Marvel Strike Force has a lot more game modes and a lot more to do. They certainly have a lot more player versus environment, PvE content.
Yes, yeah.
But if I'm being honest, I probably spend 3 times as much playing that game than I do. I mean, the time commitment is quite a bit higher.
Right, yeah. And that's a good and bad. I mean, I guess it just depends how much you enjoy the game and whatnot. Like, I would I'm not the biggest fan of a tournament system. I think I said this way back when Shore Trooper and whatnot was the tournament thing, because that's a big time sink. But it's kind of nice just to have it there. So if I want to just do a couple of battles of Shock T, I can go in there. It's pretty low risk. And I could test out a couple characters and test out how it does against a variety of squads. And I know there's a lot of talk lately about adding a sandbox mode to Galaxy of Heroes, because it would be nice to be able to take your characters and just do a lot of testing without the risk of losing a Grand Arena, Territories, or just Arena in general. And Galactic War doesn't tell you much about how good a character is.
I'm looking at my data. It looks like I play Galaxy of Heroes a little more than an hour a day. In Marvel Strike Force, I play not quite 2.5 hours a day. So it's definitely a difference in time, and that could be good or bad. I know for me, I like the idea with Galaxy of Heroes, because sometimes I don't have an hour and a half to play Galaxy of Heroes. Sometimes
oh my God, I played Marvel Strike Force more than Galaxy of Heroes 2 the past week.
Yes, it's the way the game is more. There's just more to do, and if you want more to do, that game definitely has that.
Yeah.
And even though there's a couple things that I don't like about Marvel Strike Force, it seems like it's coming together quite a bit better. Like, it's getting more polished. It's like
that's the reason why I started picking up the game again, because you said it's a lot better than it was a year ago, and I was like,
it's a lot better. Again. And their numbers reflect that too.
Yeah.
Like they I mean, I don't want to say like Galaxy of Heroes is dying, but it's kind of dying. It definitely peaked last year when the Sith raid, but it's probably going to go on forever with the whales. As long as the whales spend, it's going to keep going, right?
Right. I mean, yeah, that's a whole other video. We talked about it quite extensively. I don't think it's going to just drop dead tomorrow, but it's a slow bleed. Their numbers haven't been good as previous years, not as many new players as previous years, and their competitors are starting to catch up and surpass them sometimes. But they still make a lot of money, though. They make a lot of money. So even though there's less money than before, it's still millions and millions of dollars every month.
Well, and I don't think this has to do with the game. I think this more has to do with the franchise.
Yeah,
with Marvel versus Star Wars. And, things could be entirely different here in the fall with Episode 9 and all that good stuff. I mean, I'm actually kind of excited about it. I mean, if they're going to bring back Palpatine and, something with Skywalker.
Rework.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind if they retcon most of the movie of the other movie, Episode 8, but as long as if they just came out and said, that was just a dream sequence, everybody was asleep, I'd be okay with that.
Ray was asleep the whole time.
Yeah, it was just a dream. It really didn't happen. We'll see. So, I don't know. Let's go on. Let's talk about the last thing right here, and then we'll wrap up the video. You were an economics major before you went into law school, right? Tell us what the sunken cost fallacy is.
The best way I could put it, I told you this story. For some reason, this one professor I loved at the University of Illinois at Champaign. Every time I'd go to one of their brand new courses, they'd always kind of start off with this whole idea is that your time is valuable, and if you go to a movie that you don't like, leave the movie. Don't keep staying because you tell yourself, oh, I bought the ticket. I have to sit here and watch the rest of the hour and a half of this movie. The whole point of the sunken cost fallacy, which is a big thing in mobile games, is that you put so much time into it, so much money into it, even though you're getting screwed over so hard and you're not getting much of a benefit by putting more money into it. You're going to keep going at it because you just invested so much emotionally and money-wise, and that's how casinos work too. And you keep trying to, I might win the next game. I might win the next game. Oh, then eventually you just keep digging a bigger hole for yourself.
Right. So at the end of the day, basically, because I've spent thousands of dollars on this game and played for 3.5 years, I will take any kind of abuse they send me.
Yeah.
And I need to be aware of that.
Yeah. That's it.
And it's like, why I can't quit the game now. I've been playing for this long. I've spent this much money.
Yeah.
And the example they give on this website is that if you buy a $20 ticket to a concert, but then you have to drive hours through a blizzard, you're gonna the cost is going higher and higher, and you're doing all this extra stuff just because you spent the $20.
Right.
You know, it's like I'm already this far in. I got to keep going. You know, so I'll just keep that in mind. You know, with your situation. You know, if this was a brand new game that you had spent no money on and no time, would you put up with it? Is the question.
I think that's why I drop a lot of games too. You know, because do not like mobile games that much, and I played so many mobile games because I don't invest money. It's like money in it. I don't really care if I drop it. It's like whatever, goodbye. But games like Galaxy of Heroes and probably people from Marvel Strike Force as well. They put so much into it. It's like. It's hard to. You don't want to leave. I mean, so
it's still the best game I've ever played.
Yeah,
but, you know, it's like I love this game, so it's just like I read Reddit and it seems like everything's on fire when I read it lately. It's like my goodness, right?
That's how life is, baby. That's how life is.
Yeah, and for the amount of money I've spent on this game, I've gotten thousands of hours of quality enjoyment, entertainment.
Never played a game for so long. Same here.
Yeah, so I mean, even if we come across negative, I just want to acknowledge this is the best game I've ever played, ever.
Yeah.
It really is. So I just want to put that out there before we do our giveaway. Are you ready for the giveaway?
Oh, man. I'm ready. Get the hype. Get the hype in chat. Put an F. No, we don't need Fs in the chat. But smash that like button if you want this giveaway, people. Come on, baby.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I really hope you liked this video today, because if you did, you are in luck.
Oh, man.
For every single person that likes this video, you will be getting for free in your account an 8-star, 8 red star Sith Trooper.
Woo!
This is not a scam.
You saw it in person, so it's real. We have physical proof this exists, people. So make sure you subscribe.
This is an original Stormtrooper. The character model for the one that's supposed to be coming out that's tied with Palpatine has the First Order helmet, which is kind of interesting. A lot of people say, why is the First Order and Sith in the same sentence? Well, I don't know that they are. It just looks like it's a red-colored First Order. Maybe it has something to do with Palpatine, right?
I don't know yet. They said it is a Sith Trooper, though. That is the official name of the character.
Yeah, it's called Sith Trooper. Though we're talking about the one that I posted on my Twitter, which would be this one right here, which is called Sith Trooper. So I like this photo. You took this photo, by the way.
Good times, man. Good times. Good times.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. You keep on gaming.
Dabbing those haters.
Dab!